Now, back to our main news tonight, and the UKIP MEP Godfrey Bloom has had his party's whip withdrawn after branding a room full of women sluts at a fringe meeting of UKIP's conference. He insisted the remark was a joke, but it overshadowed the speech of his leader, Nigel Farage, who said the comment had gone beyond the pale. Mr Bloom also had a run-in with this programme's political correspondent, Michael Crick, when questioned over the lack of black faces on the cover of their conference brochure.
What's appalling about making that point?
You, sir, are a racist.
Why am I a racist for saying there aren't any black people?
And you've checked out the colour of people's faces? Disgraceful. You're disgraceful.
Well, what's...
So UKIP may be making the headlines again because of the actions of a gaffe-prone member, rather than the rousing speech of its leader, but it seems talk of bongo bongo land and the like is actually resonating with lots of young wannabe politicians. UKIP say their youth membership has doubled in the last year, and this week they held their first ever youth party conference. We've been out to meet the next generation who believe UKIP is the future.
Morning. Morning, how you doing, you all right? I'm Councillor Christopher Wood. I'm a UKIP councillor for Fareham Crofton. I'm 23 years old, so I'm the youngest on the council. We had the highest turnouts in the whole of Hampshire here, and I won 50.3% of the vote. The bypass is now at the top of the agenda, and that's because how we voted. Exactly. Thank you very much. It's amazing, really, to think that 1 in 4 people in our village actually went out and voted for me. I actually won the most votes per person in the whole country at 23. It's just absolutely incredible.
I'm 20, I am a student, just finished my first year at London School of Economics. I'm reading anthropology.
No, guys.
No, I'm out.
We're giving out the wrong image.
I agree with you on that one.
In my free time, I kind of get a little bit involved with United Kingdom Independence Party.
I get that a lot of us are libertarians and are into freedom and stuff, but I don't want YI to be seen by the public as like this bunch of raving free hippies that just are wild. Like, we are normal people and we have morals.
I'm extremely proud to have seen the future of our party secured by the almost incessant growth of our youth wing.
When I first joined, I remember my school friends like, oh my God, you're Indian, like why are you joining UKIP? They hate you guys. I'm like, whoa, that's wrong, no. And then explain the whole immigration policy to them, like, you know, the fact that we want equal immigration for everybody in the world. We don't want the EU to have preference. Also, we want to, like, limit it because, hello, we live on an island, it's kind of small.
Morning.
Good morning.
England's green and pleasant land is being built over to house people from abroad who are coming in and challenging us for jobs. You have to have a controlled immigration policy, and we don't. You see pollution increasing, you see traffic increasing, you see congestion, you see public services being put under more strain. This is all immigration. It's fundamentally wrong.
I'm Demi Cole, I'm a Conservative defector to UKIP. I voted for the Conservatives to have a European referendum, and they haven't given it to us, and that's not what democracy is about. Democracy is about listening to the people.
Even looking for a Sunday job, spent hours going around every shop handing out CVs. All the shop staff, Eastern European. There's no, young people can't get jobs.
My name is Alexandra Swan, I come from Surrey, I live in London. I used to be Deputy Chairman of Conservative Future, the youth wing of the Conservative Party. I came across UKIP and realised they have such a vibrant youth wing. My father's originally from Council Estate in Yorkshire. We're from a very, very Labour area, very Labour family, but he's a very much Thatcherite Conservative. And I remember him explaining income tax to me when I was about 9 years old, and how if you earn more money, you then pay, not only are you paying more as a percent, you know, your percentage will be a higher amount, but you're actually paying an increased percentage. And I thought this was like this complete injustice when I was about 9 or 10. I hate to sound hyperbolic, but it is, by a better name, slavery.
Love us or hate us, UKIP are bringing young people into politics, and that can only be a good thing. Young people need to voice their concerns, they need to stand up for what they believe in, they need to fight for what they think is right.
Whether they like it or not, and they don't, do they? We are a political force.
Today we've had the Young Independence Conference at the Old Sessions House in Clerkenwell. Really exciting day. It's the first conference that Young Independence has had. 70% of the kind of congregation were new faces, which just shows how we are appealing to, you know, a broader spectrum of people.
Makeup, getting ready to go to the wire ball. It's nice that we're all going to kind of just get a chance to bond and actually get to know all our other younger members.
We had a lot of young speakers. I mean, the way it engaged with the question on grammar schools, I really enjoyed. You can see how it affects ordinary people and
And
how...
it is. There are more KFCs in every town than there are grammar schools, and that's a problem.
The turnout and the number of young people here and like the vibes we're getting from everybody, it just gives us a lot of hope for the future, like, that we will be able to help it go from strength to strength.
Okay, great. Everyone look straight in the camera.
So what is it about politics that appeals to young people and what influences their choice of party right now? I'm joined by Sanjit Tandy and Chris Wood, two of the UKIP members featured in that report, as well as young members of other political parties, Helena Dollimore from Young Labour and Conservative Party activist Robert Winterton. Sanjit, when we just played the video of Godfrey Bloom hitting Michael Crick, you laughed. And we saw you listening to him in the piece. I mean, do you think this is all just a bit of a laugh?
No, not at all. I mean, obviously, he's a representative of UKIP. He has a lot of responsibility. And I think that the action that Nigel Farage and Stephen Crowther, our chairman, have taken is right. He needs to be disciplined.
Are you not really embarrassed by his behaviour?
No, I have to say. I mean, on a personal level, great guy, love him. However...
Really?
No, he's a funny guy. But the thing is, obviously, stuff he says is offensive. People do take offence, and it's not OK.
But do you think he appeals to your generation?
Not... He's not
and people
one
like
of our
Roger
favourites.
Helmer, who we had on earlier, you know what I mean?
I would say, obviously, they're not some of our favourites. Like, we do love the likes of, like, Nigel, who obviously is very charismatic, stands for amazing things, is a responsible human being, and stands for really great policies. And it's people like him that we love.
Chris, how do you feel about this today? I mean, it's been a total mess, hasn't it? I mean...
It's unhelpful, but it's not detracting away from the policies. It's not detracting away from the work that councillors in UKIP do across the country. That work goes on regardless of what one individual says.
See, I mean, you're sounding like every other politician.
I'm a UKIP councillor.
I mean, in that...
I'm doing the work
you're
out there
towing the
daily.
party line and you're saying what a good UKIP politician should come on here and say. No. But, you know, you're in your early 20s. You don't need to be doing that, do you?
No, but that's the thing. As Nigel said in his closing statement today at conference, he was saying that, yes, like UKIP, like, we do promote people saying what they think and not having to feel that they need to adhere to the party line. But he was saying that you need to say it in, like, a civilised way and, you know, be responsible. Don't be rude. Like, Godfrey has been rude. But that's the thing, we are doing so well, and it is a shame that one man has kind of played detriment to
Robert Winterton, this is a problem for you, isn't it? If young UKIP are attracting these sorts of people who would have traditionally gone to the Young Conservatives, you're in trouble.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I mean, every party's going to have some sort of youth wing. I'd say the Conservative Party's actually still got a very strong youth wing and has done for years now.
I mean, Chris, you were a Young Conservative, weren't you?
I was, yeah, but unfortunately I went to go and join the Royal Navy, and you've decided to cut a number of ships we have. The Type 22s have gone. You're not really pushing forward enough ships. You've cut the British Army by a fifth. No one in the country can really support that.
I mean that's all part of our deficit reduction plan. But I mean, the main thing about the youth wing politics is actually, though stereotypically young people are not seen as conservatives, we have got the strongest youth wing. We've got the most members, we've got the most university societies, and we've grown the quickest since the 2010 election.
What have you made of this?
I think sort of today has just shown exactly what puts off young people from getting involved in politics. We've seen absolutely disgraceful comments.
Just stop where you are for a second, because I think we've got a slight problem with your sound. We'll come back to you in a second while we just sort that out. Let's talk about your leader, who you say you admire hugely, Nigel Farage. Now, last night on Channel 4 News, Michael Crick revealed some suggestions about his past.
Yeah.
What he thought when he was young, a bit younger than you guys.
Teenager, yeah.
And what he said about that is, look, I regret everything I said when I was 17. You know, implying basically that, you know, once you grow up, nothing you said when you were young matters. I mean, what does that say about what you think now, and how you will feel about what you think now in 20 years' time?
Obviously, people do grow up. In fact, in the last year, I think my political views, for example, have changed. My flatmates are all very left-wing, kind of Marxist, supporters, and even they've said that I've changed so much in the last year. So it's just.
But you talked about your friends saying, you know, why are you in this party, and how they regard UKIP as a party with dodgy views on race. How do you feel about the fact that whatever he thinks now, he may have said things that you'd find offensive, really offensive?
Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and they do change. And I'm sorry, but.
So you don't find that worrying? Whatever he said when he was a kid?
Not really.
You have to remember what he said was the head teacher and the deputy head have both said that actually dismissed it completely. And that's encouraging for us. If a deputy head could dismiss it, basically what they were doing were winding up.
Yeah, but what Nigel Farage has also said was, look, that was then, I was young, only a little bit younger than you are now, and that he's changed all his views since then, as if it was sort of the foolishness of youth.
What he was doing
and I just wonder whether you ever worry that maybe what you think now is the foolishness of youth.
Not at all. If you go around and talk to my residents in Stubbington and Hill Head, they will tell you the things that I'm working on are exactly the things that they are interested in, which is why I won 50.4% of the vote. Now, that's not a case of a young person going out there and taking a process vote. That's an awful lot of hard work, and that's what UKIP's doing across the country.
Helen, let me try you again.
Yeah.
Now, you know, how do you appeal in this? Because in the argument, in the political argument, the argument that is being made is, you know, that there's sort of a strange alliance between UKIP and Labour come the next election.
I think that what we've seen today is exactly the sort of thing that puts young people off getting involved in politics. We've seen Godfrey Bloom make really offensive comments about women, and then the MEP you had earlier on the programme making deeply offensive comments about rape, and I think that's exactly the sort of thing that puts young people off. I think the way that we appeal to young people is by talking about the issues that matter to all people. I don't think young people should be pigeonholed as caring particularly about specific young people's issues.
But isn't that all young people tend to demonstrate about? You know,
no, I don't. I think that I think whilst those issues are of importance to young people, they also are concerned about living standards, about jobs and the economy, and that's exactly what Ed Miliband's going to be setting out in conference this week, how we can tackle the falling living standards in this country. You know, we've seen out of the 38 of the 39 months...
You know what he's going to be saying to you. You've had the briefing too.
Cameron's been in government for 39 months, and of 38 of those, people's living standards have been falling. And young people, just like all people, hard-working people across this country, they want to know what party is going to tackle that for them and which party is going to stand up for the hard.
Let me just very briefly ask you, I mean, do you think you are the sort of the strange minority in your generation? Like, do most of your friends just think you're weird, being in politics?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Most people are not as interested in politics as we are.
No, I disagree. Okay, maybe it's just my peer group or something, but when I was at school, we had like mock elections and stuff all the time. We were always really encouraged to get involved in like following politics. Same at university.
I agree. I mean, since I've gotten to university, I mean, I study a political subject, so I'm bound to be surrounded by people that are sharing my view on politics. But I also think that even people that don't have an interest in politics understand it. It's just something I believe in and something I'm interested in.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you all very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
Jackie.